everybody, my name is Eric Hopkins and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're finding me for the very first time, please click that like and subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you get all the notifications about when I put up new content right here on this channel. So I've been out of town for the last, 4 or 5 days or so, whatever it might be. And I've been able to do a whole lot of movie news here on the channel. So full disclosure, I've decided to do a little bit of a catch up here, and as not only catching up on some recent news events, however, I've come to realize that doing like 12, 13 news videos sometimes a day has become a bit overwhelming. So what I'm planning on doing here on the channel is to continue doing movie news videos, but what I want to start doing is maybe doing them, it might be every day during the week, or it could be Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, where I do 1, maybe 2 videos, where I'll, combine 3 or 4, maybe 5 stories in one short video, which I'm going to be doing right now, and I'll probably start doing that format going forward. So I hope you guys will continue to watch these videos, as I'm going to try to make them as informative and as fun as possible. So with that being said, let's get into a few of the news stories that I did not necessarily forgot, but didn't get to because I've been busy out of town with family and such things like that. Life gets in the way, unfortunately, and hopefully you guys will understand that. But I will continue to try to bring movie news and stuff like that to you as much as I can moving forward. So let's get into the first story that I like to get into here, and that is, of course, one of the big stories that happened last week that I wanted to cover, and that is, of course, this article here from Entertainment Weekly, and that is, of course, that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson says that he will not be returning for the final Fast and Furious films, Fast 10 and Fast 11. We have now learned the fate of The Rock in the Fast and Furious franchise. After starring as the forceful Luke Hobbs in the Fast installments 5 through 8 and headlining his own spin-off, Hobbs and Shaw, Dwayne Johnson sat out last month's Fast 9. Good for him, because I didn't think that was a great film. Maybe because he wasn't in it. Still, fans have held out hope that he would return to the main series in the previously announced final 2 films. But some recent news is sure to make them, furious. It kind of, I ain't gonna lie, this hurts me a little bit. He said that he flat out laughed hard when he talked to the Hollywood Reporter talking about Vin Diesel's recent comments that the duo's beef a few years ago can be traced back to the tough love that Vin Diesel gave the wrestler turned actor to elicit a great performance on 2011's Fast 5. Diesel said he would do anything that he would have to do in order to get performances in anything he's producing. Johnson thinks everyone had a laugh at that and that he'll leave it at that, but confirming once and for all that he will not be rejoining the family in the upcoming final 2 parts of the Fast Saga series. I wish them well on Fast 9, Dwayne said, and I wish them the best of luck on Fast 10 and Fast 11 and the rest of the Fast and Furious movies that they will be doing without me. Johnson's declaration comes only a month after the Fast 9 mid-credits scene that featured a surprise cameo by Jason Statham, Johnson's partner on Hobbs and Shaw, which has been widely expected to continue with a sequel. Basically, Dwayne Johnson said he's not returning for Fast 10 and Fast 11. I ain't gonna lie, this bums me out because I think Fast 5, 6, 7, and 8 are the best in the series. No doubt about it, and a lot of that is attributed to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. And I think that his performance in those films, even though he was barely in 7, I think his performance in those films make those films that much better. And the films he's not been in, like 4, 3, 2, 1, and of course Fast 9, have not been on par. Now, I'm not saying that the films can't be good without Dwayne Johnson. I think Fast 10 and 11 have potential to be good if they keep the craziness to a minimum. They did at least one thing in Fast 9 that I don't want to get into here because I don't want to go into a whole lot of spoilers. But if they do that again, or if they try to top that, what they did in Fast 9, I'm going to hate Fast 10 and 11. I think they need to keep it simple, stupid, and go, continue their pursuit of Charlize Theron's character Cypher. Finish off some of the other, plot threads you've got lying around, like the Justice for Han thing and stuff like that. I think that's where they need to go. But I, for one, am definitely going to miss Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's Hobbs in Fast 10 and 11. Now, he said that all the Fast movies they will be doing without him. He did not mention whether or not that means he will not be doing another Hobbs and Shaw movie. I have a belief. I think that the Hobbs and Shaw series will continue, and him and Jason Statham will continue to do their versions in the Fast and Furious films. And of course, the last Hobbs and Shaw film, set up some storylines for the future of that franchise. So I think we'll be seeing, Luke Hobbs again, but it just will not be with Vin Diesel and his crew, which is a shame because I wanted Fast 10 and Fast 11 to kind of be this Avengers-style team-up at the end of the series and maybe bring back Paul Walker's Brian O'Connor via CGI and his brothers doing, motion capture and all things like that. We still may get that based on the possible tease that they gave us at the end of Fast 9. That may be one thing that saves Fast 10 and 11 for me if they were to pull that off. But it's definitely not going to be unnoticed that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson Shaw will not be appearing in Fast 10 11, but that's going to be a shame. But what do you guys think about that? Comment down below and let me know as well. All right, so let's move on to our next topic here, and that is, of course, coming to us from the Direct. Let's go over here and check out the article for that story, and that is, of course, that the rumors of Daredevil is star Charlie Cox from the Netflix Daredevil series joining No Way Home reshoots. After that Loki finale, many might think that the upcoming Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is the most anticipated MCU film. It would be a reasonable assumption, but there's another candidate that probably has it beat: Spider-Man No Way Home. The film is all that many can talk about. From the rumors of multiple Spider-Man to multiversal villains and that crazy magic suit, it truly feels that this film may go down as the most discussed MCU film of all time, or at least one of them. Yes, perhaps, possibly even rivaling Avengers Endgame. Of course, that's not all. Speculation has been swirling that Charlie Cox will be reprising his role as Matt Murdock once again, having not played Daredevil since his solo Netflix outing was canceled after its third season. Now it seems that some signs might indicate that Cox could be in town for some reshoots, as Spider-Man Homecoming is now doing. Or No Way Home, I should say. A San Antonio convention named Celebrity Fan Fest announced on their Instagram that one of the show's celebrity guests, Charlie Cox, had to cancel his appearance, originally scheduled for August 6th through 7th, due to a quote-unquote last-minute filming schedule change. They said, unfortunately, due to a last-minute filming scheduling change, Charlie Cox is no longer able to join us in San Antonio for a Celebrity Fan Fest. But don't worry, if you sent in an item for an autograph and still want to, he graciously agreed to make sure everything gets signed in the next few months once his filming ends. Cox's public filmography of upcoming projects, one that does not include Spider-Man No Way Home, indicates that his production schedule is clear over the next month. However, it's very possible that this schedule change could be a shoot for a project that has not been made public yet, a la Spider-Man 3. So why is this notable for the MCU? Well, the moderators over at the Marvel Studios Spoiler subreddit noted that reshoots for Marvel Studios' Spider-Man No Way Home have started up, signaling a clear reason that the Daredevil star may have had to cancel. A few of the photos taken by someone driving by Trilith Studios can be seen below, showing all this. The first photo shows a yellow film sign reading SN, which is lined up with the Serenity Now code now that the film used when it first started filming. A photo from afar shows tall blue screens and cranes and blah, 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 a bunch of shooting. So could we be getting Charlie Cox coming into Spider-Man No Way Home here? It sounds like, his rescheduling of his convention plans may line up, in fact, with the Spider-Man No Way Home reshoots. So if that's the case, perhaps Marvel decided, hey, all those online talks about, everybody wanting Daredevil and maybe Matt Murdock himself, reappearing in the MCU. And, of course, the way that Loki ended, I don't want to get into a whole lot of spoilers there in case not everybody's seen Loki, but it definitely set up the possibility for some characters from other Marvel properties, aka universes, could start to cross over. Now, I know the beginning of Daredevil basically, said that they were part of the MCU proper, mentioning, Tony Stark and Thor and the Hulk and things like that. But later, it seemed like the Netflix Marvel shows really started to deviate away from the main MCU timeline and kind of were doing their own thing, which is fine, kind of like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. sort of did. But the way Loki ended, it set up the opportunity for these characters to possibly return to the MCU and, be put back into the MCU proper. So Charlie Cox is a fan favorite, so I would definitely like to see Charlie Cox continue to play Matt Murdock in the future. Let's hope that they've actually got him for Spider-Man No Way Home. It make a lot of sense. Looks like Peter Parker could use a lawyer because his secret identity has been ousted to the public here. So we'll see if they pull on that string, or maybe they'll bring in She-Hulk. Maybe because she's a lawyer as well. Maybe they pull that string. I don't know. But I hopefully, this is true, and we'll get some Daredevil sooner rather than later. And of course, the rumors are a lot of the Netflix characters could be showing up in the MCU sooner rather than later as well. So we'll just have to wait and see what they do. But this looks promising to me. I can't wait to see that. The next news item here that we want to get into is, of course, DC related. Let's move from Marvel to DC. And I did a video on this channel about the fact that the casting was, the search was underway for the new Batgirl on the HBO Max exclusive movie that's going to be coming up here in the next few years or so. And it appears now we have our Batgirl. And of course, this comes to us from the direct. Batgirl casts In the Heights star Leslie Grace as the lead in this movie. HBO Max is moving full steam ahead on their original DC Comics projects. The streaming service already has John Cena's Peacemaker series shot to completion, expected to debut sometime early next year. Aside from the Suicide Squad spinoff, development on the HBO Max's Green Lantern Corps has been moving steadily, and with American Horror Stories Finn Wittrock penciled in to play leading Lantern Guy Gardner. It's not all original shows at HBO, though, however, as the streamer has been developing a Batgirl movie. The solo Barbara Gordon flick will bring Miss Marvel directors Bilal Fallah and Adil El Arbi into the helm of the project and has been teasing actresses for the lead role this week. While plot specifics are still unknown, Batgirl now has its leading woman. Barbara Gordon has been cast, as was reported by The Wrap. In the Heights star Leslie Grace, as seen here, is tapped to portray Batgirl in the upcoming HBO Max film of the same name. The Batman spinoff film was reported to be testing actresses earlier this week for the titular role. Names such as Isabella Merced, Zoe Deutsch, and Haley Lou Richardson were all in consideration for the role, and it ultimately went to Leslie Grace. Outside of film, Grace is an acclaimed musician. She has received 3 Latin Grammy nominations and is a former Lo Nostro Tropical Female Artist winner in 2016. Home Box Office Entertainment has always had an eye for acting prospects, and this casting further exemplifies that. This is a channel that helped blossom young A-list talents such as Kit Harington, Zendaya, and Emilia Clarke. HBO revolutionized blockbuster television through the 21st century, but just as the saying goes, they needed to evolve with the times. While this means pivoting their focus to streaming, HBO is clearly retaining their talent scouting skills. Leslie Grace is most known for her music career, as she has permeated her sound through Latin American radio stations across the world throughout the 2010s. Grace only has 1 film credit to her name, this summer's In the Heights, but her performance encapsulated executives enough to pull the trigger on her for Barbara Gordon. She may be a relative unknown to movie fans, but Grace's work ethic cannot be denied. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly earlier this summer, Grace emphasized that she was taking notes every day from veteran actor and co-star Jimmy Smits. Batgirl is currently without a release date, but it is slated to stream exclusively on HBO Max, and I expect that film, I believe they said it could go into production later this year. We may even get it in 2022, but 2023 may be more realistic, but we'll just have to wait and see what they do. Maybe by the end of 2022. That's always possible. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think this is fine. I don't know much about the actress, obviously. Obviously, there were some people complaining that, they're race bending and things like that because she's a Latino. But at the same time, that doesn't really matter to me. To me personally, it's all about, can you tell me a good story? Can you tell me a good story about Batgirl and bring that character to the screen and do the character justice? That's all I care about. So to me, I think I'm willing to give this young lady a shot. Obviously the execs at Warner Brothers have faith in her after everything they've seen. So I'm willing to have the same sort of faith, and we'll see how this goes. I've always got a bit of a wait and see approach when it comes to casting and things like that, because we don't know exactly what the studio has planned for the character that they've casted it for. Perhaps this character fits the bill that everything Leslie Grace brings to the table. So we'll just have to wait and see what they do. So I'm glad to see that this is getting a little bit more steam, and it appears that production will be going into production here soon. So we'll see what they do, and I can't wait to see more from DC coming down the line here. I've got some high hopes for their plans moving forward. All right, our last topic of the episode here, the last topic of the video that we're going to do here is going to be coming to us from the Hollywood Reporter. So let's check out that report. Yes, Warner Media CEO Jason Kilar insisted his studio won't abandon exclusive stream releases of tentpole picks at the local theater, but HBO Max will also produce 10 movies next year for the service to drive subscriber growth at the streaming service. The motion picture format absolutely matters, Kilar told analysts on an AT&T earnings call as he returned to a familiar theme for Warner Media. The studio will release certain epic tentpoles at the local multiplex, even as shorter windows and day-and-date releases in theaters and on HBO Max becomes the normal for the post-pandemic era. He highlighted the box office success for Warner Brothers with Godzilla vs. Kong, with $462 million in revenue in theaters, as big event films still play well at the multiplex. And so clearly some pictures matter and will continue to matter when it comes to the actual exhibition. But he said other movies appeal to consumers when screening in the home via HBOMax, as Warner Media has talked about a 45-day theatrical window starting in 2022 as the industry comes out of its pandemic era disruption here. Kilar told analysts that the industry was not going back to the way the world was in 2015, 2016, or 2017, where windows were quite lengthy between theatrical and home exhibition. The result is shorter windows expected for some of the Warner Brothers movie slate before titles are released into homes as part of Warner Media's streaming bet with HBO Max. The Warner Media chief also revealed Warner Brothers will produce around 10 movies that will be available exclusively on HBO Max on day one in 2022. These movies you see on screen right now are some of the movies that they are debuting day of this year in 2021, direct to HBO Max and in theaters at the same time, so you can enjoy those movies at no additional cost. So no details were disclosed about what movies that Warner Brothers will be creating for, exclusive for HBO Max, but 10 movies in 2022 are going to be made exclusive for the service. Now, they've already said they're going to be shortening their release windows to 45 days after it goes into theaters. 45 days later, it'll be available on HBO Max or for purchase, Blu-ray or on-demand, things like that. So that's always good news. For the consumer, the release window is much shorter. Now, it sounds like they feel like they've had some success with some of their HBO Max releases, like Godzilla vs. Kong and things like that. So they're going to continue that model, but it sounds like some of their bigger tent poles, like the DC movies, or, if, they make more Matrix films or whatever else they've got, if they got some Harry Potter releases they want to release, sounds like those are going to be theater exclusives, in my opinion. But it sounds like moving forward, HBO Max, much like in their DC side of things, where they're going to be doing some DC movies and TV shows specifically for HBO Max, Warner Media in general are going to be making 10 movies or so starting in 2022 that are going to be exclusive to HBO Max, will not be going to theaters. If they do, it could be one of those deals kind of like this year where the theaters have it as well as HBO Max, but it sounds like it's exclusively for the streaming service. And if that's the case, that's interesting too. It's probably going to be stuff that they don't think are going to do as well at the box office, but movies that they think will do well, they'll continue to release those at the cinema and at your local theaters. So, okay, that sounds like cool for the consumers, but it'll be interesting to see exactly which ones they put there. It may be some of the ones they just kind of want to dump and get rid of. They don't think it'll make much money to begin with, but we'll see what they do. But the real question here is, guys, what do you guys think about the new format here on the channel, where I do 2 or 3, maybe 4 topics here in my movie news videos, discussing all the movie news that's been going on within the last few days or so. I'm going to try to keep up on it a little bit more. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys happy that there are going to be no more Dwayne Johnson in Fast and Furious? Do you want to see more Fast and Furious in general? Do you want to see Hobbs appear again in a Hobbs and Shaw 2? Are you excited to see Charlie Cox possibly, returning for Spider-Man No Way Home to play Daredevil? And of course, are you excited to see Leslie Grace perform Batgirl on HBO Max coming here within the next year or so? Comment down below. Please let me know what you guys think, and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you get all the notifications about when I put up new content right here on this channel. And until my next video, guys, take care.
Target